Hi, I am John Balwierczak, and I'm running for North Arlington Borough Council. Well, I first got into local politics in 2019. I'm sure people are familiar with Jimmy Herman. You know, he's the rec director. You know, I told him I wanted to get involved with politics, so he goes, John, there's a Republican club, you can go to the meetings, So, knowing me, I really wanted to get into politics. I started going to the meetings. I never missed one meeting. I went to every meeting, every fundraiser, so on and so forth, just learning about the politics of town and what people's interests are, what the particular party's about. Listen, I did a lot of hard work for the Republicans. They might not say it now because obviously I'm competition. For a while, I did a lot of work, putting signs in. I brought in money, so on and so forth. So disagreements started for many reasons. One of the biggest reasons why I had a disagreement with the current administration is the overdevelopment. Dan wanted to have a lunch with me in Arlington Pizza. It was the year 2023, very early in 23, even before we started doing meetings in the new year. We sat there, we had pizza, and, Dan was talking to me, feeling me out of what my opinion was about the overdevelopment. And we sat down to discuss, the future of the town, because I really care about the town, and I'm not going to deny he doesn't. So he told me that, I need to be a cheerleader for the overdevelopment. Then the mayor comes at me with all these type of proposals of what I think about the new multifamily buildings that are going in North Arlington. My answer, I told him I was against it, and I was shocked at how he responded. His response was not what I was expecting. It was me going rogue. Oh, you're not part of this party if you can't be for these multifamilies. And I was just taken back from a surprise that all the work I've been doing, I'm not for the apartments, so I'm not part of the party. And I just thought that was not right. The blow-up meeting, I hear that from a few former Republicans that they call the meeting, it was February 2023, the first meeting of the year that we usually start up for the Republicans. We go into the meeting, I have my own opinions of what I think the town and direction should go in prior to a poll I did on a website pertaining to a rec center and a pool. So, the meeting starts, we're talking, and then somebody looks behind me and says, "Hey, John, don't you have something to say? You always have something to say." So I stand up and do what I do best and state my opinion. I thought this town needed a rec center or some type of pool or just anything. It was just an idea. But ideas in the Republican Party are something that they don't want. If it's not their agenda, you're going to get yelled and screamed at. And that's exactly what happened in that meeting. I say my opinion, then you have the mayor, the Republican club president, just attacking me and my mother because we have an opinion on the town. So, we're going back and forth, blah, blah, blah. It came to a point where the current mayor challenged me to run against him. He goes, "John, you want to run against us? Go ahead, run against us." So I was just, taking it for what it is, So as a respectable person I am, we leave the meeting. I'm going to shake the mayor's hand. And this is the last words I heard from our mayor in North Arlington. "Have you ever hit a bull on the head?" And how you could take that however you want, but how I took that was he wanted to go head on. So, and that's where we currently sit now in 2024. Well, funny story after the so-called blow-up meeting, I was with my mother in the meeting. We get in the car, and she tells me I have this look in my eyes that she's never seen before. And I told my mother, listen, I'm going to go and run against them. Why? Because I was so blown back that someone who's 34 years old, it's hard enough to get people to run politics as it is because it's a dirty business. And the way I was treated at that meeting when I treated everyone with the utmost respect was shocking. I definitely had maybe a little betrayal. I had more of a letdown because I had high hopes for the goals I was striving for. So I had to completely do a 180 and go into a different direction, not on policy, just with people that I knew from this party, to meet new people who actually wanted to open up and welcome me with open hands with my ideas. One thing that some people don't know about Dan Pronti, and it's sad to say, but it's his way or the highway. I mean, it's what he says goes. And that's something that a town shouldn't be ran like that. I think a lot of people won't say it, but they feel a lot of pressure from him. And I even think that some of these people would like to get out from underneath him because of the pressure he puts on people with his. Listen, I've been in town since 1994. I have roots in this town. I hate to say it, the mayor doesn't. Born in Bayonne, no roots. So with that being said, I talk to a lot of people, specifically Republicans, Democrats, and I know there's somebody, maybe even a few in Dan's circle that do not agree with the direction he's taking the town. And maybe that will come out now, maybe it will come out later, but I think the Republicans have a lot of infighting going on with the direction Dan is taking the town. What a shame is, under Dan's council, you have a lot of lifelong residents under Dan's council, and they have no say. Dan is just a vote unless the tiebreaker is needed. So the council does exactly what Dan says. It's 6 votes down the line, obliging to our mayor. And there's an old saying, when everybody is voting the same, that means nobody is thinking. So we have no independent minds on that council to say, you know what, Mr. Mayor, I don't think that's a good idea. But the only thing we do have is, yes, Mr. Mayor, we're going to do what you say, and no questions are asked. And the reason why no questions are asked, and it's happened to many people, you get thrown off planning boards, you get fired from jobs. It's just a lot of things happen when you say no to Mayor Dan Pronti, and I personally think that's not how our town should be ran. Listen, from someone who was a former Republican, I know there's a lot of people who disagree with Dan's policies, especially coming from the zoning board and planning board, and even within his party on the council. They say anything though, like I said again, they will be casted out quicker than you can blink. If one of the councilmen voted no, they wouldn't last long on the council. And that's just the way Dan runs his party. And like I said again, if anyone had a great idea, they couldn't even speak of it. And I just think that's so wrong for the direction of the town when it comes to the planning board, the zoning board, the council. Even if I could tell you a story that somebody, I won't mention a name, wanted to do a fundraiser. The guy it was a councilman running, he said, I want to do a beefsteak, Dan. Can we do a beefsteak? It got shut down in 1 minute. Dan goes, we're doing Romas, and you never heard about the beefsteak fundraiser again. So what's the sense? Is it the Republican Party or is it Dan's party? And that's the question the residents should start to wonder. Listen, I can tell you a fact. This is a true story. We have a woman that, I won't mention her name, is part of the party we're part of, was thrown off a volunteer board because she didn't want to put a Dan Pronti sign on her lawn. And to me, listen, if I was running and somebody didn't want to put a sign on their lawn, you're not going to ruin somebody's life or throw them off a planning board. And she happened to be an older woman. a senior citizen, which seniors actually need to get themselves out there, keep their brain going, give them something to live for, and you have this mayor throwing people off volunteer boards, which I think is a horrible thing to do. To the town of North Arlington, I hope in November you cast your vote for John Balwierczak and John Pagula for North Arlington Borough Council. Thank you very much.